G'day folks, Jim here from FX Charts. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Well, Friday's session was really focused on Janet Yellen's testimony to the US Senate and her assertion that US monetary policy is going to remain unchanged for the time being until the economic data suggests otherwise. So we shouldn't expect any tapering anytime soon. And the focus really therefore was on the equity markets, with both the Dow and the S&P closing at all-time highs. The US dollar came under a little bit of pressure, but in the currency markets the real focus was on the yen, which was broadly weaker as a low yield currency and the funding currency of choice. So that pushed higher against the dollar and on the crosses. And I think in the medium term there's more of this to come, although for the time being the short-term charts are a little bit overbought, and I don't think we're going to move too far from 100. If we go and have a look at the charts here, this is a 4-hour dollar-yen chart. The indicators are somewhat overbought, and we might go up and head towards this previous high. When was this? Back in September at 10060, but I don't think we're going too much beyond there for the time being. And it could be that we come back down to sort of 99.5, 99, where I would think that there's going to be a decent buying opportunity. If we look further out, we can see that the consolidation over the past few months is now definitely broken, and that the trend is higher, and eventually we might test this 103.70 area. The dailies are heading higher, but for the time being, I really think that we're probably going to be for some consolidation, but the grind will be towards the top side. The euro on Friday, that it held its rising this support the rising lows, but it's struggling at 135. I don't think we're going to go an awful lot higher. It is probably fairly range bound. There were comments from the ECB over the weekend that there's further room to ease monetary policy in Europe, so that's going to cap the euro somewhat. But equally at the same time, the US dollar is soft and it remains under a bit of pressure. So a 134 to 136 range looks fairly likely early in the week. Cable, that had a good session on Friday. It actually broke some important resistance, mainly on the back of some Bank of England comments that inflation is a concern, and that raising rates may be a possibility some stage down the track. I think that's a long way off, but the dailies, sorry, this is the 4-hour chart, they are pointing higher, and we may, if we can take out this 161.20 area, which is where we are now. 161.15 was the previous high, and we may head back up towards 162, 162 and a half. Dollar Swiss is doing little. That's just consolidating a little bit lower, but I think it's probably fairly range bound, and it's going to receive some decent support down around this 91 area. The Aussie and the Kiwi, well, they're both looking okay this morning. The Aussie's back up at 93 3/4. Overall, I think it's probably in a 92.5 to 94.5 range. The RBA, there's various members of the RBA is going to be speaking later in the week. Both DeBell and Stevens are speaking, so they're likely to try and put a bit of a top on the Aussie. They'll talk it down, I think. And so I wouldn't be getting too bullish up here, looking possibly for levels to sell it. But having said that, the momentum for the time being on the 4-hour charts does remain a little bit higher, while the dailies, which had been pointing lower, are now flattening out. So it kind of supports the theory of a little bit of consolidation. The Kiwi's much the same. We've just had some Kiwi data out, which has pushed it a little bit higher, but it's coming into some resistance here at 83.5. The 4-hour charts are pointing a little bit higher though, so we might see a move up towards 84. I don't think I'll be getting too bullish up there though. Every time it gets up there, it comes off fairly quickly. So once again, I think I'll probably be looking to sell into the strength. The economic highlights this week will be the FOMC minutes, and if they're dovish, that might see the dollar lose a bit of its uptrend, particularly against the yen. But we've got the BOJ interest rate meeting on Thursday, I think it is, to watch out for. I don't think they're going to do too much at this particular meeting, but the rhetoric is certainly ramping up, and I do think that in 2014 we're going to see further yen weakness. But that's about it for today. I think it's going to be a fairly range-bound session, not too much going on. It's going to be choppy, but generally pretty much sideways. So that's about it. I'll be back with another video later in the day. Cheers, bye.